friends. Happy Monday. It is so incredibly cold here. It is so cold here. I hope you're staying warm wherever you are because I am not. I am freezing. I live in a very cold place. I am in Canada and it's cold. It's been like -20, at least with the wind chill. It's been at least -20, I think, every day for the past week. At least it feels like it. Today's definitely, I think, -22. It's cold. I've had to turn on my space heater and like trying to read in bed, my fingers go numb from the cold really fast. So I've been struggling, but I was able to read. I'm getting back on track. I was able to read 4 physicals. I did sample a couple digitals and I read a couple chapters digitally and a full volume digitally, but in today's video, we are just going to be looking at the 4 physicals that I read. I'm back on track. And I did make an Indigo order because I have a gift card. Did you know sometimes credit card points, if you get enough points, you can get gift cards for bookstores and then it's like free money? Because I didn't know that. So I have $100, or I had $100 to spend at Indigo, and my first 2 books arrived. I read one of them. The one I haven't read yet is Love Bullet. I do need to read this one. This one is the very next one that I will be reading, I say. Next English one. I can say that confidently, but I might not be reading this as my next read. I might do Japanese next. We'll see. But I am excited for this. The employee at the store complimented my purchase when she saw that I bought it, and I was like, oh yeah, I have good taste. So I am excited to read it. And I bought this purely for the hype, just because everybody's been talking about it, and I don't like being left out. I want to know why people are talking about it. But I have not read that. So let's look at what I have read. I don't think... Oh, maybe I can do this in order, okay? Because I didn't read that much. Starting off with Volume 2 of Beastars. This one, I read Volume 1 really early last year. I got the first 8 volumes from the thrift store for very cheap. And I bought it less because I was interested in the title, more because it's really rare to see such a cheap manga, at least in Canada. Manga doesn't go on sale here. So when I saw it, I bought all of them. And I read Volume 1, and then I think the first chapter of Volume 2. And then I just got distracted with, I have a lot of books. I get distracted easily. But I'm trying to read through my stuff. So I read Volume 2, and I actually really liked it. This is a really fun series. I really like Legoshi the wolf as a main character. Volume 2 does more to introduce kind of his like wolfish nature. We do see it a lot in Volume 1. Volume 2 does just amp it up a little bit more. And there is some conflict going on with him and the deer. Lewis, as I think his name. And yeah, I just really like it. I really enjoy it. I think the cast of characters is what really makes this one shine. I really like all of them. You can see them. Like they're little cuties. And I think it's fun. I don't know how I feel about Haru as a main, like, female love interest. I don't know if she's going to be a love interest. I don't know how I feel about her yet. I know stuff happened with her in this volume. No spoilers, but stuff did happen with her in this volume that I was kind of like, about. I did like the scene where she and Legoshi have lunch together. I thought that was very interesting because we saw on the surface, like how they were acting outwardly, that they were just having a nice normal lunch. Everything was cool. But under the surface, on the inside, their secret feelings were like, Haru was terrified because she's a bunny eating lunch with a carnivore. And Legoshi was feeling his own type of way about things. I thought that was very interesting. I think that was probably my favorite part of the entirety of this volume. And I will be reading on, probably slowly, but not as slowly as last year. I'm trying to speed things up. I'm trying to get through my books. So I did like this one. This probably wasn't, I don't think it was my favorite read. Maybe it was my best English read of the week. Maybe I'll give it that. But I did enjoy Beastars. This one's pretty, like, this isn't my typical book I would reach for, but I am surprised with how much I liked it. Next one, and I think in order. Finally, Volume 2 of Kimi to Barairo no Hibi. This one does not have an English, and there are only 2 volumes out. It's been about a year since volume 1 was published, so it was on hiatus for a bit, but it's back and running, and it is just as fun as I remember it being. Thankfully, I remembered basically everything that happened in volume 1 somehow, so I didn't need to do a reread to be able to enjoy this one. I was able to get right into it. I will say this isn't my favorite out of all of my high school romance series in my collection, but I do think it's absolutely worth a read. This one, at least in volume 2, we do see a little bit more of his character. Specifically, we see his relationship with his 2 cousins. And I put cousins in bunny ears because we're introduced to a second cousin, so there's 3 of them in total. And his relationship with this newly introduced cousin is a little bit strange. It's a little bit ambiguous. I don't really know what's going on. So maybe they refer to each other as cousins, but they're just friends. Maybe they're actually cousins. I don't really know. It hasn't been all that much explained yet. But I'm hoping they're just cousins, and I'm hoping things are just normal. There's no like romantic or anything like that. Just with the way the series is going on, I'm hoping that they stay purely cousins and there's no threat of a love triangle. If this becomes a love triangle, I can see myself losing interest in it, specifically just because of how all the character relationships are. The female lead in this one is portrayed to be a very naive character where she believes people at face value, which that can be a good trait to have, but it's shown as a bad trait in this one. In this volume, I don't think we see her. She doesn't really change much compared to volume 1. We really only see growth with him. She's just kind of the same, thinking about like, why do I feel these feelings whenever I see him? Oh no. Which is very common in high school romances. And I do like that. I think it's sweet. Just, I would like to see more growth from her. We also have the cousin, Saotome is his name, that was prevalent in volume 1. And I don't know about him. Every time he pops up on the page, he feels kind of different. I find him hard to get a grasp on. And I think maybe that's the point. But also I don't understand him at all. He's a little bit sneaky. He disappears randomly. He appears randomly. I don't really know what's going on with him. And again, I don't know if he is rooting for him and our female lead to actually date, or if he's hoping for like chaos to ensue. I can't get a feel for his character, so I don't know if I like him or not. In volume 1, just like the littlest bit, he kind of reminded me of Yoshida from Chainsaw Man, which is why I liked him. Volume 2, he does not remind me of him at all. He's his own character, but I find him to be a little bit confusing, so I'm a little bit worried for that. Overall, though, I did like this one, and I will still be reading on. Just this one won't be as high a priority for me as some of my other series that I know I really like. Next one that I read is my favorite overall read of the week, and it is this one, which is volume 3 of Kon'yakusha wa Dekiai no Furi. This one also, unfortunately, does not have an English out. It deserves one. This one is a longer series. I think there's at least 7 volumes out. I have the first 5 or 6. Finally, so I'm slowly reading on. This is such a good series. In volume 3, we do see character progress from both characters. More so our female lead, Rachel, than our male lead, It's Fahad. Fahado in Japanese. And I don't know if it's Farhad or Fahad. So I'm just going to say Farhad because that's how I want it. That's what I've decided. His name is Farhad in English. We see a little bit from Farhad, but not as much as in Rachel. In Rachel, normally, in just the day-to-day, we see basically everybody around her, except for her parents and her maidservants, kind of look down upon her just because she's had nothing but failures in her romantic life. She is shown to be the most capable character ever. She's so smart, she's good with numbers, she understands taxes, she helps her family business, she does everything. But because she's not successful in her love life, she can't get herself a boyfriend, or she wasn't able, I guess now, to get herself a boyfriend. People think badly of her. They think she's incompetent, which I think is very, very stupid because Like, she doesn't even need a boyfriend. But now that she has a fiance, why are they still talking about her like that? Like, I think that's dumb. But we see in this volume that she does actually have a very, very large support circle, or like a group of people who really think highly of her. And they're not related to her. So they really do see her for who she is. They understand that she is a very, very competent character because she is competent at things. She's a good character. In this series, we also have, because it's called Dekiai no Furi, which means pretending to be like madly in love. So we have our main couple, Rachel and Farhad, pretending to be in love, but not actually. And throughout the volumes, including volume 3, it's very much like, does Farhad actually like Rachel, or is he just very good at pretending? And the first volume, at least, leaned more so towards he's just really good at pretending. And the entirety of the time, Rachel would think like, oh my god, does he actually like me? Oh, no, never mind. And that's been the theme. But volume 1 was more so like, yeah, he's definitely just pretending. But as the volumes go on, it's leaning more towards like, maybe he does like actually like her. And in volume 3, there were a couple of, I think there were really nice scenes where we see him clearly like find her charming at the very least. So like in one, it's not a spoiler, but just like one little scene, they were up all night in the same tent because she had questions about his selling techniques, or like how to make a deal. Because she tried to make a deal and it went through, but he was able to push through and complete the deal. And she was trying to, because she's competent, she wants to know where her shortcomings are and how to fix them. And she thought of that as a very, very good night because she saw herself coming out of it as a more competent merchant. But when she told her maidservant about it, the maidservant was like, oh, Rachel, like, it's not a good night between like people about to be married from fiancés. Like, you were up all night talking business. Like, what? But clearly, like, he doesn't care. Like, clearly he likes that, because if he didn't like it, he could have left a long time ago, but he didn't. And we also do get some like kind of cliche, but like I eat them up scenes in this one. Specifically, we had, I actually really liked it. I don't think I've ever seen it before in a manga, where in just one volume, we have Rachel getting too drunk, throwing up all over her bed, and like trying to like make her way to a guest room to sleep, where Farhad like intercepts her and takes care of her until she's okay. So we have him nursing her back to being okay. And then just like one chapter later, Farhad, there's an incident and he needs to be not nursed, but like he needs help getting back to normal. And Rachel takes care of him in return. So I did really like that, because typically if one character gets like sick or injured or something, or too drunk and they need to be nursed back to health, typically we only do see one side of that in a volume, or really ever sometimes. But this one gave us both of them back to back, which I really liked, because we did get to see different sides of them like a lot in this volume, and it was just really good. I really, really do like the character growth in this, because we're slowly seeing all of the different components of the relationship as they come together. So we're watching them learn more about each other, and we're watching them begin to like each other for real. Hopefully, maybe. I think so. Slowly but surely. And I'm enjoying it. This was definitely my top read. I really like this series. Yeah. My last read, physically at least, was volume 2 of The Too Perfect Saint. This one, I will say, I didn't enjoy it as much as volume 1. I did still like it. I will be continuing it. But if I'm being honest, I like the sister, so Mia, more than our saint. At least I'm more curious about where Mia's story will take her versus our main lead, Philia. Just, I feel like Philia, like, she's a great female lead, don't get me wrong, she's a great lead, but I feel like with volume 2 specifically, with how things ended up, it's like, okay, now what? Like, it's done, basically. Like, it was finished in like 2 pages. Like, there was conflict brought up, and then it was snuffed out before it could start. And now everything's like chill. So I'm not sure how Philia's story is going to go from here, maybe I'm wrong and it will be like amazing. So much is happening and I'm going to get really into it in the next volume. I don't know. But as of volume 2, her story feels complete. And like, because at least the first 2 volumes really didn't focus on romance, it was more so about Philia and her journey. I don't know. I don't feel like I'm wanting to see her get with anybody. I'm feeling, Kate, you did your job. You can live the rest of your life in bliss. Maybe get married, maybe don't get married. I don't really care. But her sister Mia is on a path of revenge, and I love a good revenge story. So I am really interested in seeing what Mia does now that she knows bits and pieces of what happened to her sister Philia. And it seems a lot more interesting because it's like Philia did everything she needed to do. Like, I don't know where the story is gonna go for her. But Mia, there's like endless possibilities of what she can do. She's gonna be playing the long game. She's being sneaky. Like, I'm really interested in Mia's story. So hopefully it will focus more on Mia rather than Philia. Sorry, Philia. But that's just what I'm interested in. Maybe I'll be proven wrong again. Maybe volume 3 will have both of them doing really interesting things. I don't know. I have to read and see. I don't think this will be one I pick up the light novel for, though. I feel like it's a little bit slow, and I feel like I'm happy with just the manga. But in this volume, we were introduced more to the crown prince with long hair, and I like him more. At least I like his design more. And his like chill attitude. I just like all of him more than the main male lead, which is. But what can you do? And that's everything I read. All 4 volumes. I think it was pretty good. Like, I had a pretty good reading week. I didn't dislike anything that I read, but I definitely, this was the best. Gotta continue. I do have to work on my TBR list. I have to move things around. I have everything to read, but I need to have like a, what am I gonna read next list. I also did read a couple, like I'm working on one English, one Japanese light novel, as I always am, but I'm not going to talk about them until I'm done. Just because spoilers and stuff. Yeah. I learned my lesson. I don't talk about books until I'm done them now. And yeah, that's everything I read.